Hello everyone, my name's Yoon and today I have a bit of a different video for everyone. This is a video all about GrayGlish. What is GrayGlish? GrayGlish is my custom English Reclist. English, if you don't know, has a rocky little history with UTAU and the standard methods are ones I'm not particularly fond of. The best way I think to engage with English in UTAU is to make a list that is best suited to your needs. Now, even though this is a list I made with myself in mind, I think that it's still something other people will get mileage out of. If you've ever wanted to record English voice banks but aren't fond of word-based reclists or over-bloated reclists that still manage to miss phonemes, I got something for you. GrayGlish foundationally is built off X-Sampa transcriptions. X-Sampa is a Sampa variant that transcribes phonemes from all languages, not just English, into a universal alphabet. All aliases and file names in GrayGlish use X-Sampa nomenclature. The fundamental goal of GrayGlish is to build an English reclist that captures the density of English while also keeping recordings to a minimum and keeping the process efficient. This is a snippet of the X-Sampa phoneme chart I include in each GrayGlish voice bank. This is a handy reference guide to use if you're not familiar with X-Sampa. As GrayGlish is an English list, I recommend that only users that are already experienced with UTAU development tackle this. I'm assuming from this point that you're an intermediate user and that I won't have to explain very basic preliminary setup like changing locale or how to split up multi-pitch folders. I recommend that even if you aren't doing multi-pitch, putting all the individual voice bank recordings in their own folder will help with organization. Make sure all pitch folders correspond to the respective pitch you record. For ease in recording, I recommend using Oremo. I've included an Oremo Reclist in the Reclist package. To record GrayGlish in Oremo, open the program, choose File, Set Recording Folder, and navigate to the folder you're recording in. Once the folder is loaded in, select File, Load Voice List. Navigate to Oremo Reclist full.txt in the Reclist package folder. Now, different chunks of GrayGlish need to be recorded differently. For the standalone vowel section, each vowel is recorded on pitch for 3 seconds and a pause in between each phoneme. Each vowel should be recorded with an end breath. Here's how that should sound.
Ah, oh,
For the VV section, you want to record this the same way you'd record VCV. Each VV string is recorded in a continuous line without pauses. Here's what that should sound like. The main CV section is recorded similarly to the standalone vowels. Each CV is recorded for 3 seconds with a pause between each. Here's an example of that.
Fuff, fuff, foof, fif, fef.
The beginning and ending consonant clusters can be recorded quickly with pauses in between. Here's what a beginning CC string should sound like.
Kurched, kurch, kurks, kurked, kurk.
And here's an ending CC string.
Dra, dwa, tra, twa, thra, thwa.
Lastly, I prefer to record the strings including Q and Bu the same way as CVs. I prefer using some of these phonemes as CVs, so I record them long. Here's what that will sound like.
Q, Q, mew, new.
I know some of you out there prefer using Guy BGM. I don't. Guy BGM is not included in this Reclist package because I don't use it, nor do I find it necessary. Once you've gone through the list and recorded each line, I like to drop all recordings into Dark Audacity, select them all, and perform 100 Hz rumble equalization. This is about the only post-processing I do if I didn't also do some pitch shifting. You then want to export multiple, choose the correct folder, and choose Overwrite Existing Files. Click OK on each of the files really fast and it'll export them all. I then open up the bank in UTAU and render FRQ files at this stage. Doing this before the OTO means you won't get stuck rendering all the duplicates. Once that's done, open up setparam and choose your bank's folder. When it prompts you to choose an OTO configuration, navigate to either OTO full or suffixed OTO full. Only use the suffixed OTO if you're doing multi-pitch. Once you have it loaded up, choose File, Save Voice Configurations As, and save the OTO in the correct folder. From here, open the bank with the OTO loaded in UTAU. You may have to reload the configurations in UTAU for them to show up. Now we get to the long part of this whole thing. For the beginning of standalone vowels, it should look something like this. Small consonant, preutterance stopping right before the note, overlap halfway behind. Leave a little bit of silence before the note, but not too much. The cutoff should go before the note tapers off into an end breath. For vowels with and without underscores, it should look like this. The only changes between both is that the vowels with underscores should have the preutterance halfway behind the overlap, and the opposite should be true for the ones without underscores. I don't typically use standalone vowels without underscores, but I just have them in case. For ending vowels, the preutterance should be placed right when the vowel stops and the breath starts. The overlap should be halfway behind. Consonant should extend a little bit beyond into the breath. The cutoff should be placed a bit after the breath has ended for a little extra silence. For VVs, the preutterance should be placed after the first vowel. The overlap should go about halfway behind. The offset should allow for a little snippet of the first vowel. The consonant should extend just a bit past the preutterance. The cutoff should go right before the next vowel in the string. It helps in this section especially to listen to what you've already configured. The main CVs are configured in a pretty similar manner, though I have some tips for the different types. For hard consonants like K, I set them up with the preutterance in the middle of the K sound. The consonant just comes up to where the vowel peaks. Now, the main CVs do not have beginning hyphenated CVs, as this isn't really necessary. You're free to configure beginning CVs if you want to, I just choose not to. For soft consonants like M, the preutterance stops just before the vowel. For consonants that have S or sh sounds, putting the offset in the S consonant is sometimes needed as the S can get long. Otherwise, the configuration of these is the same. For middle VCs, the offset should be placed more so on the vowel and less on the consonant. The consonant should capture everything up until the consonant, leaving some white space between the cutoff. The preutterance should stop right after the vowel, and the overlap should be halfway behind it. For VCs that have a space between them, the vowel will be longer. For VCs with no spaces, the vowel will be shorter. For ending VCs, the preutterance should be moved closer to the consonant to ensure it's picked up. There should be a little bit of silence after the consonant. For consonant clusters, the principle from VCs is the same. For most CCs, less of the vowel will be captured. For ending CCs, leave some silence after the consonant. That's the basics about OTOing. The only other thing I'll mention is aliases. Aliases will already be set up by the base OTO, so you won't have to worry about changing anything unless you're doing multi-pitch. In that case, a really easy way to change aliases is to open up the OTO in Notepad, select Find Replace, make sure Match Case is checked, put D4 and find what the pitch you want to change to and replace with, hit Replace All and save. So, once you've configured everything and your OTO is complete, time for a quick test. Navigate to the folder that says Sample UST and open up the main file. Fit the UST to your UTAU and hit play. If you did everything right, congratulations! You've made a bank on GrayGlish. Now, one last thing before I wrap up. One resource I put in this package that may become useful to you are two replace lists. I have replace lists for UTAU that replace VCCV English and are pacing phonemes with GrayGlish x Sampa. The majority of English USTs you'll come across are going to be in those two formats, so this makes converting them easy. First, I'll show you how to convert a VCCV UST. Before anything else, copy the VCCV to GrayGlish text file and paste it in the folder with all your other replace lists. For me, that's in the tcon subfolder in the replace folder of UTAU. You may need to reload the plugins folder for the change to take effect. Now, open up whichever UST you want. For me, I'm opening up our sample UST, but the phonemes are all VCCV. Select all and go to Tools, Plugins, UTAU. Select Replace by List, and in the drop-down menu, select VCCV to GrayGlish. You'll see the phonemes on the right are now going to change. Select OK twice, and now all the phonemes are converted. To test it, fit the UST and hit play.
All that I wanted were things I had before. All that I needed, I've never needed more. All of my questions were answers to my sins. All of my endings are waiting to begin.
That conversion was pretty solid. Now for our pacing to GrayGlish, same thing as before. Make sure the our pacing to GrayGlish text file is in the replace folder. Do the same routine as before and let's see how it did.
All that I wanted were things I had before. All that I needed, I've never needed more. All of my questions were answers to my sins. All of my endings are waiting to begin.
Our pacing conversion is a little trickier than VCCV because our pacing is a vastly different list. With both lists, conversion may not be 100% correct. Still, the goal is to save at least some time and not have to convert every single phoneme by hand. Thank you so much for watching. Links to all resources for GrayGlish will be in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to get in contact with me. I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, all that I wanted were things I had before. Oh, all that I needed, I've never needed more. Oh, all of my questions were answers to my sins. Oh, all of my endings are waiting to begin.